Tomorrow's the deadline for the new chip-enabled credit and debit cards. Now, if you're freaking out because you haven't received yours in the mail, don't worry. Most of us have not received the new cards, so it looks like much of America is going to blow tomorrow's deadline. These cards are safer, they say, and already in use in Europe. Joining me this morning is Dave Hatter, our tech expert. Dave, how you doing?
I'm good, Rob. How are you?
Yeah, so a lot of stores don't even have the special readers to read these cards too, right?
And that's what's holding it up, Rob. You know, these stores have to make a pretty substantial investment in getting new readers that will work in most cases with either type of card, the old mag stripe card or the new card. So it's been a slow process because a lot of them don't want to take on that financial cost up front. But then the problem for them is they assume all the risk, and that's why the banks are pushing this.
Okay.
In this new model with these new PIN and chip cards, they're basically saying if you accept transactions as a merchant and you don't have this capability, if there's card present fraud, meaning where someone gives a card, you're going to pay for it.
Okay, and I went to Target over the weekend, and their readers accept both forms right now. Why is this new card safer?
Well, because the card itself has a computer chip on it. There's several reasons, actually. Now, in Europe, most of them work. They're called PIN and chip over there instead of EMV typically, and it's because you dip the card, so there's a process change. Instead of just swiping the card, you got to stick the card in and wait. It generates a unique transaction ID. It's all encrypted, so that's one of the benefits. The card really it generates a unique code each time it's used, so if it gets shut down, you can close it off more quickly, if that makes sense.
Sure.
And then secondarily, you have to enter a PIN. So instead of just a signature, which usually isn't even verified, you're adding an extra layer of security into the mix. Whereas, you know, the old mag stripe cards, you can easily copy that magnetic information and use the card over and over again until the bank detects fraud. So while it is better for you, the likelihood you're going to get a whole bunch of fraudulent charges is pretty slim.
Okay.
It doesn't really provide any security on the back end.
How so?
Well, because the data is still stored in their servers. This is all mostly on the front end. And it's really, again, about folks like Visa and MasterCard trying to eliminate this card-present fraud because they can shut it down more quickly. And that information stored in the card is much more secure. It's much harder to create a fraudulent counterfeit card with this new system than under the old system.
Well, I mean, there's anecdotal evidence because they've been using this type of system in Europe for years. Most of the fraud that happens in the world happens in the United States, correct?
Yeah, some statistics I've seen are like 50% of the fraud occurs in the United States, but overall we're only doing about 25% of the transactions.
Okay.
And yeah, you're right. This has been around for a long time in Europe. In fact, EMV stands for Europay, MasterCard, Visa. They kind of came together as a consortium and said, we want to cut off this fraud because it costs them a lot of money.
Sure, we got to fix this problem.
That's right.
All right, Dave, have you got a new card yet?
I do.
All right, have you used it yet?
I have not actually dipped it because I don't do much shopping.
Yeah, all right. I understand. He does all his stuff online.
I try to, yes.
Dave Hatter, our tech expert, man.
Thanks,
Thank you very much. We have